Hey guys, what is up? It's Tatch here, back here for another video, and today we are playing the final recording of Karl Was Famous. So this is episode 8, and I'm so excited because we've got all of the endings so far except those 3, and one of them being the mystery blue box. I have no idea what's in that box. I don't know what was in any of those boxes, but I'm more concerned about the blue box because it is blue, it is a different colour, and I want to know what's in it. So if you do enjoy this video, please consider hitting a like on the video, because that's what you do when you like a video. And please subscribe because I've got 19 subscribers so far. Woo! So yeah. Also, check out my other episodes on Karl Was Famous. I've done 7 so far. This is my 8th one and my final one. So please go check those out. Unless you want to find out what these ones are, like as soon as. But if you want to find out what all of these other things were, then go back, watch my other videos, and hit that subscribe button for updates on different episodes or stuff. Or maybe I'll revisit this because I know they've got like a hot dog version. Yeah, don't ask. Okay, so let's get into it. Karl is the host of the most popular talk show in recent memory, Stay Up Late with Karl. Stay Up Late with Karl has grown in popularity quickly in the last year. The public has noticed. Inside has called Karl the most excellent dumpy white man. Top Tech noted that Karl is inspiring youth to explore STEM fields. Most other talk shows are dedicated to discussing Karl and his personal details. Most online videos are best of clips taken from Karl's latest broadcast. The eye of the world is upon Karl. Tonight is Karl's most important guest interview yet. Stay Up Late with Karl will be featuring Rachel May. She is a kind and lovely philanthropist. She is dear to the hearts of many. This interview requires preparation. Karl cracked his eyes open, knowing today is his last chance to prepare for the interview. Karl has 30 hours left, like that's as many hours as there are in a day, which it is not. But we break the laws of everything in this game, so who cares? Who cares of how many hours there are? Me, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, I keep thinking on how this is the last episode I can do on this series, which I'm so glad because I can finally move on to saying something else other than welcome to another video on Karl Was Famous. I was going to stay up late with Karl. I really have been playing this game for too long. Okay, so return to bedroom, sit at desk, write notes for interview. And we are back to this bit, which I'm glad about. Am I? Because yeah, we're one step further to completing the entire game. Sitting across from his host chair was a glamorous woman with an air of genuinity. As Karl approached her, Rachel looked up and smiled. "Good evening, Karl. I've been looking forward to being here." Answered politely. "And I as well, Rachel. You are a most welcome guest." Shake hands, explain pleasantries or something, whatever that is. "Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Stay Up Late with Karl. Tonight I have the pleasure of interviewing the lovely Rachel May, who needs no more introduction. However, Rachel May is not sitting next to me." Cue gasps. "She is not new to this show. She did not walk in before me. In fact, I am Rachel May." Rachel looked confused at Karl and slightly mouthed the words, "You are who?" Karl stood up quickly and threw his arms high above him, pointing upwards. "I have never been Karl. I have never been the host of the show Stay Up Late with Karl. I am here but for one reason, to interview myself." Karl sat down in his chair and went to produce the notes he had taken earlier. Karl reads the first question on his list. "Are you a mother?" "Ah, glad you asked. Yes, I am." Or, yes, you are. Or I am?" In a fit, Karl continued to re-answer his question, trying to come up with the correct phrasing. Rachel spoke up. "Karl, I'm foster mother at all, so it doesn't really matter. Lies! Impossible! I don't believe it! I just banged my hand on the floor then. Ow. Okay, Karl, I've never been in a position for that. I've really just focused on my career. All you needed to do was ask. Karl was silent for a moment. Then, realising he had no idea what he was doing, he decided to let Rachel talk. So what about your career? Do you enjoy what you do? How did you get into it? The two continued talking for the best part of an hour. Karl asked questions, and Rachel answered them accordingly. Eventually, Karl's producer signalled to Karl that it was time to stop. The broadcast ended. The crew and Rachel said their goodbyes and returned home. But Karl continued to think about Rachel after the interview ended. Something about Rachel had struck Karl. He wasn't exactly sure what. But he did know that he was interested to hear that she was single. Guys, Karl has fallen in love. Oh, I shouldn't because this is a fictional character, and didn't he murder his friend? Oh, he's fallen in love with a criminal. That's so sweet. Karl noticed Rachel. Oh my gosh. Noticed Rachel. Oh, is he falling in love with her? It's actually kind of cute. Not gonna lie. That's actually pretty sweet. So yeah, Karl is in love. But that doesn't really matter because there's like 2 other endings and I doubt they're all connected. Are they all connected in some way? Are all of the endings actually alternate universes? And they are all connected, and Karl is the only one that knows this? Or does he not know this? Because if he knew this, then why would he be repeating this day over and over? But does Rachel know this? Or maybe it was the producer, or maybe it was Gabby, or maybe it was Frank. Did Frank know? That was cool. So we've got Noticed Rachel so far. And, well, this next one that I'm going to do is actually something that people have been talking about online. There's actually not a lot of things online about Karl Was Famous, which I'm really annoyed about because I've been trying to search for hints without going to the spoiler things to tell us what happens. So yeah, it's kind of annoying if you look at it like that. So yeah, I found some hints of what you're meant to do. So we're going to try and do that. We have to buy the batteries, yeah. So we're going to go buy the batteries now. Yeah. So yeah, buy batteries with change, insert into flashlight, back to tech shop, return to street, return to apartment, return to bedroom, open the closet, inspect with flashlight, more, travel time. Boom, ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. 30 hours in the day. Yes! We've achieved 30 more hours. So now we can actually get dressed this time. And eat food. Because we don't want to starve again. Because if we starve again, we're gonna die. Well, a different way this time. We've died quite a few times. How many times have we actually died in this game? Because this game, it kills Karl quite a lot. Like, the options just, they don't show Karl any mercy. But hopefully this one will. I doubt it will, though. I'm sorry, Gabby. I know you do your job of trying to protect everyone, but you can't at the moment. Sorry, mate. Return to apartment. Return to bedroom. Exit bedroom hallway. Return to bedroom. Exit bedroom hallway. Blah 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 blah. Return to bedroom. Exit bedroom hallway. Return to bedroom. Woo! I'm not sure if we were meant to do anything else. Were we meant to do anything else? Oh well, we're going to find out now. Karl hurried to the set. Per normal, he ceased to be a ghost before he arrived. Sitting across from his host chair was a glamorous woman with an air of genuity. As Karl approached her, Rachel looked up and smiled. Good evening, Karl. I've been looking forward to being here. Karl responded. And I as well, Rachel. You are a most welcome guest. After the mild exchange of pleasantries, Karl and Rachel were prompted to take their places for the broadcast. A moment after seating, the studio lights brightened and the cameras clicked on. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Stay Up Late with Karl. Tonight I have the pleasure of interviewing the lovely Rachel May, who needs no more introduction. Karl motioned to Rachel, who smiled and waved at the camera. Hello, Karl. I'm glad to be here. Yeah, you've said. Well, I'm sure we have a lot to discuss, so we might as well dive right in. I'm very ready. Okay, so I want to see if we can drag this out for a while. Rachel, you managed to keep such a thin and healthy figure. What is your best diet tip? Well, a good diet starts with a plan. And don't break it. Cheat days can turn into a habit. But that doesn't mean there's a midnight snack here and there isn't allowed. Karl looked at his flabby self and decided not to comment and move on. What is your funniest story? You've been involved in a lot of different things, but what is your funniest story? Well, that's a great question, Karl. I cannot keep up this Rachel May voice. I think the story I always remember is the first time I tried to make dinner for my family. In the soup I made, I swapped out the water with milk and tipped the whole jar of salt into the pot. Ugh, that's disgusting. While my family was sick from trying to eat it, I swiped their things and locked myself in my room. Rachel laughed elegantly, as if she wasn't a psychopath. Karl decided to move on. Are you a mother? Rachel, I and many others would love to know. Are you a mother? Well, being a single woman with a career, that's not something that's crossed my mind. Rachel smiled at Karl. Very reasonable indeed. Karl asked another question, guys. There's no hiding it now. We have to finally ask her the big question. Rachel, are you guilty? Guilty of what, dear Karl? Guilty of your crimes! Sorry about that. Rachel did not answer. Her eyelids started twitching uncontrollably. Blah, blah, blah. Karl pulled out his phone and dialed the police. Hello, police. I believe I found a criminal. Karl began to run towards the... not Karl. Rachel began to run towards the exit. On her way, she swatted Karl's phone out of his hands. Good move, but I still already called the police. Karl stuck his leg out. Rachel stumbled and crashed to the floor. But in a moment she was on her feet, she drew a blunt weapon seemingly out of thin air and started to swing at Karl. Karl produced his laser claymore, still don't know what that is, and blocked her false defences. A grand fight between the two started. Blow was traded for blow, spins, flips. Rachel threw a large swing towards Karl's head. He blocked forcefully, sending himself forwards. Karl and Rachel found themselves inches away from each other, face to face, weapons crossed. As they looked at each other, something magical happened. Karl thought about all the times Rachel had smiled at him. Karl thought about her witty, polite answers. Rachel began to think about how intelligently Karl prepared just to talk to her. She thought about how he lived, not magnificently, but in a small, cluttered apartment. Hey, how did he know that? How did she know that? I want to know how she knew that. How did she know that? How did she know? Has she broken into the house? I want to know. That doesn't seem very nice, Rachel. Karl and Rachel had slowly, fallen in love. Karl and Rachel's lock was broken. They continued to fight back and forth, but their eyes never parted. Rachel spun her leg out. She kicked Karl's claymore out of his hand. She grabbed Karl by the front of his shirt and tugged him close. Perhaps the last thing I should steal is your heart. Rachel pecked Karl on the lips and slid out the door, disappearing. In the following days, Rachel was not found. What sort of weird fan fiction is this? Okay, many sums of money and artifacts have been stolen from museums, and banks were returned overnight. Small amounts of the sums were missing. Equal amounts were donated to anonymous homeless charities. Karl spit Gabby back out after his fight with Rachel. She continued to be a vigilante and stopped many crimes. After receiving a note one night under his door, Karl took a sudden vacation to the city in Europe. Although he had stated to his fans it would be a short trip, he never returned. Slowly, Karl fell out of the common mind. News outlets began to cover other topics. Reruns stopped airing. Karl faded into obscurity. But it is rumoured that a couple from the US has started a family on the coast of the British Isles, and they seem quite happy to not be famous anymore. Okay, that was even nicer than the other ending. Still really, weird though. I think that ending was meant to come after the, what's the ending? Karl Was Famous! Oh, that's the area. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I still would have preferred to got this one first, but that's cool. Oh, you can still see the blue outline, but I'm not going to hate on it too much. It even comes up with Karl Was Famous. That is so clever. That is honestly so cool. It's probably going to be very anticlimactic when I get this one now, but it would mean that we've finished. Okay guys, you know the drill. One more ending, because there's literally one more ending left, and we would have finished the entire game, which I'm excited about, not including the add-on packs, because I'll only do the add-on packs if people really like this game. And I still think it's such a cool feature to have Karl Was Famous. So yeah. Karl wakes up. He is famous. Karl is the host of the most popular talk show in recent memory, Stay Up Late with Karl. Stay Up Late with Karl has grown in popularity quickly in the last year. The public has noticed. Insight has called Karl a most excellent dumpy white man. Top Tech noted that Karl is inspiring youth to explore STEM fields. Oh wait, I didn't have my mouse on the more button. Most other talk shows are dedicated to discussing Karl and his personal interests, personal details. Most online clips are best of clips taken from Karl's latest broadcast. The eye of the world is upon Karl. Tonight is Karl's most important guest interview yet. Stay Up Late with Karl will be featuring Rachel May. She's a kind and lovely philanthropist. She is dear to the hearts of many, especially Karl. This interview requires preparation. Karl cracked his eyes open, knowing today is his last chance to prepare for the interview. Karl has 30 hours left. He must choose wisely. Yes! Karl hurried to the set. Per normal, he ceased to be a ghost before he arrived. So Sitting across from his host chair was a glamorous woman with an air of genuinity. As Karl approached her, Rachel looked up and smiled. "Good evening, Karl. I've been looking forward to being here." "And I as well, Rachel. You're our most welcome guest." After the mild exchange of pleasantries, Karl and Rachel were prompted to take their places for the broadcast. A moment after seating, the studio lights brightened and the cameras clicked on. "Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Stay Up Late with Karl. Tonight I have the pleasure of interviewing the lovely Rachel May, who needs no more introduction. However, Rachel May is not sitting next to me. She is not new to the show. She did not walk in before me. In fact, I am Rachel May." Rachel looked up at Karl and confused and silently mouthed the words, "You are who?" Karl stood up quickly and threw his arm high above in the air, pointing upwards. "I have never been Karl," he shouted. "I have never been the host of the show Stay Up Late with Karl." Karl looked and pointed directly at the camera. "I am here but for one reason, to interview myself." Karl sat down in his chair and went to produce the notes he had taken earlier. Karl read the first question on his list. "Is your mother a mother?" Karl replied, "No, because I am my mother. And I am your mother, and everyone's mother, and also Rachel, and Karl, and I'm also your children, and that woman you met in the coffee shop yesterday, and your high school best friend, and I'm your friends and I'm that person next to you, and also you." So glad I didn't mess that up. Well, I kind of did at the end. Karl waved his arms around and smiled. Nobody seemed to understand. "It's a magic trick. I am everyone now." Karl got up, happily danced out of the studio, arms spread wide. Although not taken seriously at first, sociologists quickly found that Karl's claims were true. Somehow, magically, Karl became everyone, and nobody else technically existed anymore. After a massive amount of study, it was found that Karl had stumbled upon a very unexpected sociological loophole. Nobody really knew what to do with this newfound discovery, so they decided to do nothing. Karl continued to be theoretically everyone, and everybody else continued to be theoretically non-existent. It was a strange time to be alive. Karl was everyone. Return to menu. Endings. Yes! Got the last ending. And I guess that's it then. It's the entire of Karl is Famous finished. So yeah, if you did enjoy this video, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe, because I like getting subscribers. It's just the thing I like. But also, if you click notifications on, or will ring that bell notification, then you'll be able to see more of my videos when they come out. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to be doing on this channel, but we'll see. So yeah. So how do I end this? I will see you in the next video. See ya.